It's showtime. Give me a second, y'all. Doing something with my phone. Y'all know the phone is the most important tool that you got. I don't know why my screen keep going out, but I know y'all still can see me, so we just gonna have to play along. We'll give y'all a chance to come in and play along. See if y'all can play along with me tonight. How y'all doing tonight? Y'all busy? Who the first eyeball I see? Who was that? Who are you? Yeah, I got the classic. I'm classically trained tonight since I'm with the games. Forgot I have my game shirt on, son. Look, I ain't I ain't gonna be here long unless the conversation says I'm here long. And if the conversation dictates that I'll be here long, then I'll be here long. I try to go 9:30 because I just feel like some of y'all gonna be almost to bed, and then some of y'all gonna still be like some of the dudes gonna be watching the game. But I really slick want some interaction. I gotta have some interaction. If I don't have no interaction, then when I end the live, then I gotta delete it. If I don't get no interaction. So if if I don't get but one person interact, that's all I need really. All right, so a couple of housekeeping rules. So I can invite anybody into the live if you not scared to be on the live. So if you feel like you got an opinion needs to be voiced, just say send me the invite and then I'll send you the invite. You know, I gotta work my production studio at the same time. Um Also, I'm probably gonna be if I get a lot of people tuning in, which it don't look like it look like y'all either going to bed or y'all not, whatever. So if I get some people tuning in, I'm gonna start playing music, right? And I'm only gonna play like a couple of seconds of it. And then you gotta tell me what song it is, but it's gonna be old school slow jam. But you gotta tell me what song it is. And then like when I tally up all your points, I might cash out the winners. Like if you get like $1, I tally up $1 per point and then multiply by two or something like that. That's what I'm gonna do. I figured out. Give me a thumbs up if you think that's a good idea. But if you're too young, then you can't answer some of my questions. My music old school. I'll show y'all why we used to get down and dirty. Yo, but look, let me jump right to it then. Let me jump right to it. Cause it looked like y'all asleep. So if I can't, I told y'all now, if I can't get no people to chime in, I'm gonna jump out. Who is this? Cause 45 minutes ain't it. Who the fuck on the post? Who already coming? Marquis? Oh, you said try you? Okay. You said try you. I can't try you, Tyra, if about the songs now. You just gonna have to answer them right. So you gonna have to beat everybody out. So so look, let me go to my commercial first. So I gotta go to my hey, cut that fan on for me. Right there. Thank you. That's my engineer. So look, I'm gonna go to my first so up to the commercials while we wait for people to come in. Today's first commercial is going to be brought to you by Upkeep Cleaning Service. Cut it down. Hold on. Hold on. I ain't even share the screen for y'all. Hold on. I ain't even share the screen for y'all. Hold on, let me share the screen for y'all. Don't y'all know doing your own production studio is so hard. All right. That's great. Let me show my screen before I ask my first question. Before I ask my first question so we can get some feedback. All right. So now back to our commercial. Let me roll roll my commercial. Yeah. Brought to you by Upkeep Cleaning Services, the premier residential and commercial cleaning. And yes, we get the gunk out your carpets. But did you know we also do windows? All right. All right, that's enough of that commercial. All right, this is enough of the commercial. All right, so look. All right, so look. This is gonna be my first song I'm gonna play. I'm only gonna play like 4 or 5 seconds, and you gotta answer before 10 seconds, but you gotta be the first one. So y'all get ready. And you gotta name the song. Hold on, hold on. See, that was easy. I just want to see who's gonna say that. All right, all right. Y'all hear it? Y'all hear it? Hold on. Oh my. Okay, there you go. Hey, look. So, all right. So I'm gonna have to tally all your points then, Tyra, at the end. So look, don't be trying to cut y'all Shazam on either. I'm gonna say that maybe your computer was acting slow because I was like, what's taking y'all so long? But yeah, that's right. So look, all you gotta do is just give me the name of the song, and then I'm gonna be like, whatever. So, all right, I was just cue my next song. All right, so let's talk about the topic then. So listen, who my banners at? I had to scroll my banner at the bottom of the screen. What we got here? I, why do we stereotype an entire sex? Ladies, please help me understand that. Why are we so quick to say all men cheat? Because the only reason men say all females cheat is just because y'all say all men cheat. If y'all never said all men cheat, we never say all females cheat. But I just want to know, first of all, why would y'all? Why? Where does the stereotype come that you want to stereotype a whole entire sex? When I give you an example, if a white lady was watching a commercial and they was interviewing somebody, let's say they was interviewing a black person and he was in a neighborhood where, let's say it was a low education neighborhood, and he or she was making some statements on this interview that didn't look promising. And then the white lady make a comment and she says, all black people are dumb. Y'all would just go into rage to be like, why she say all black people ain't dumb? All black people ain't dumb. So I'm just curious, like, why are we so quick to stereotype the entire sex? Y'all have to tell me that. Answer that. Let me know why. What's the point? What do we get out of it other than just bashing our fellow male or female counterpart? Because I'm trying to figure out. I really want to know where is. Okay, I want to learn more with that. I don't know why they're doing that. All right, yeah, that's fine. I do it right now. So look, I really want to know where did okay. All right, machine. Men and women do the same thing, but we got quick to stereotype just to blame others. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, there we go. There we go, machine. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. So that's why in my title I put "Why do humans cheat?" Because we need to get out of that pointing fingers and blaming the person. Like one of my friends, he in and out on this podcast. He on here. He does his little podcast, and he be talking about how we need to start just blaming the person in the mirror of our choices, right? So it's almost like we so quick to be like, you know, we almost forget that we chose that person sometimes. And a lot of y'all say, well, I didn't ask to be cheated on. You didn't. I promise you didn't. But for some people, the writing was on the wall before it even got to that point. And then it was on the wall again until it got to that point. So it's almost like, I ain't saying you should take no part in the blame, but I'm just saying, don't just be 100% mad at that person. Like, so my thought process behind the whole human thing is, I had a young lady. She commented actually on the when I did the look what I'm gonna be doing later on. She said it's kind of like, in essence, she was saying it's kind of like weird or not humane for us to be monogamous. Think about this. I have a reproductive organ. You have a reproductive organ. When our two reproductive organs get together, they're in essence lined up with the right day. They actually reproduce. That's the whole purpose of that said organ. Let's get that out the way. That organ is there to reproduce. Period. The organ is there to reproduce. So when did whoever created the term cheating, and I know you're going to say it came from the Ten Commandments with adultery. I'm going to tap into that a little bit. But why did we put so much emphasis on cheating before marriage? I'm curious because I've always stood by this one saying: you single until you married. I've always stood by that one saying. Like a lot of us, we get in a relationship and we expect everything that comes with the fact of being married. And that goes with everything. Like men get in a relationship with a woman and expect her to be the wife and to be cooking all the time and cleaning all the time, and he ain't gave her no ring. Like that don't make sense to you, right, women? For him to be having all these expectations of a wife and he ain't even gave you a ring yet, right? Because y'all quick to say that. Well, it's almost like, let's not talk about adultery until it's time to talk about adultery. But a lot of y'all get bent out of shape about somebody cheating on y'all, and y'all in a boyfriend and girlfriend relationship of less than a year. Seriously? Do y'all really consider that cheating? That ain't cheating me. I'm sorry. That ain't cheating me. You still on you still on your probationary period. Your probationary period lasts all the way until you marry. That's what I think. Your probationary period. Now, I will say this: if you come to an agreement to say that we are in something serious, then of course you might say, listen, I don't want you messing around and then you messing with me, blah, blah, blah. And you can set those expectations. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they cheated on you like, oh, as well, and they just a dog and they just this and they just that. They just still single. And they just doing them, male or female. What you say? Maturity mindset of the person. Hold on, let me get these comments rolling on here. All right, that's what Machina had to say earlier. All right, maturity / mindset of the person. So, Ms. Wendy, when you say that, are you saying the maturity level of a person is what they decide on whether a person cheats or not cheats? Because I'm disagreeing with everybody that has something to say, almost. You know, we're going to have a debate, we're going to have a disagreement, right? So I'm going to play devil's advocate. So there are a lot of mature people that know what they want in a person. And if they're really not getting that in said relationship, I think the biggest misconception is the fact that we don't just call it quits. See, it's human nature to have compassion for someone, right? So if you have compassion for someone that you're in a relationship with, you may not love them, or you may love them, or whatever the case may be, but you care enough about them to not intentionally hurt their feelings. Now you might say, well, cheating does that. But let's say I'm still trying to feel, and I think that you might be the one. So Ms. Wendy, I think that you might be the one, but I don't know yet. But I'm having reservations and I mess around with somebody else. You probably would say the mature thing to do is to say, just be honest and say, this is what has happened. But what if I feel like that was just really a one-night thing? Like, I still want to work it out with you. I just feel like that may have been a one-night thing. So what if, why should I tell you? We're not married. Now, I know you might feel like it's the responsible thing to do, but as if I'm using protection, why does it matter, right? Tell me. Would you tell me why does it matter? So, hold on, let me get on that. Because I kind of answered that. I'm going to do this one by one. I'm going to get off task. Watch this. Hold on. I think it depends on the boundaries. Okay, so Miss Jasmine says she think it depends on the boundaries of the relationship that has been decided by two people. But if we are in a committed relationship, then no. All right, so Jasmine and Sheena was asking as far as about like when we're in a committed relationship, then no. Okay, so what makes it a committed relationship? I need to know, because I thought the real commitment is when you get the ring. So there's levels of boyfriend and girlfriend, like boyfriend, girlfriend level 1, boyfriend, girlfriend level 2. Like, where we at? While y'all think about answering that, let me read some more of this. It depends on the other person. It depends on the other person. The other person feels like buzzing. Okay. Kevin said it depends on if the other person feels like busting a nut with somebody else. So it solely depends on that. So Miss Whitney, you still on this trust? You on this trust thing now? You on the maturity and trust thing? You said trust got to be built. It has to be built. But before I feel like I can trust you as a significant partner that I want to be monogamous with, you got to build that up too, and prove to me that I need to not be able to do nothing else with nobody else. You need to convince me. Why is this only you? Commitment don't mean shit if there ain't no shit. Yeah, you can't commit without that. Have y'all ever thought about why is it so hard not to, or why are we so tempted? It's like we gotta fight. That's a major temptation. Like I'm kind of tempted that hard when I try to eat. I'm kind of tempted when I see the sweets. But like y'all never thought about that? Like let's visit the Adam and Eve topic. Like they had everything they wanted, right? They didn't have no social media, no nothing. What Eve do? What Adam do? They still gave in to temptation. And symbolically, y'all don't even really think about what the apple stood for. We don't even know what the apple stood for. The apple could stood for sex. The apple could have been another girl. You really don't know. All y'all know is what you read and what you hear, right? Same thing now, right? Mr. Pruitt, it is a pretty deep psychological thing. I don't think men/women initially want to have the desire to, but depending on your background or where you've come from or even other relationships you've seen, then for some people it's a normal thing and others it's more serious. Okay, so you saying it's normal because it's normal for some people not to do it versus some people to do it. So growing up, I had this thought process that I never would be in a real serious committed relationship. Therefore, I could do whatever I wanted to do. A lot of people don't really do that. But let's just say within a lot of things, most men may consider, I'm cool with just us being cool friends with benefits. But 9 times out of 10, not all the time, but most of the time, it's the woman that says, we've been doing this for so long, why we not going to be in a committed relationship? So then it's the pressure from you saying that, okay, well, let's go ahead and be in a committed relationship. And then you mess around 2 weeks later. And it's almost like you kind of slick was pressured into that committed relationship. But that doesn't exist if you don't have a ring. So what are we talking about when we say that? Standards, morals, expectations, and boundaries. Okay, so Ms. Singer. So listen, I agree. It is morally wrong, I guess, when you think about it. But I think the biggest thing is expectations and boundaries. If you come in a situation and you set an expectation like this is how we rocking. So if I'm rocking with you physically, I don't need you rocking with somebody else physically because I don't want to take a chance of you making me look like a fool. I don't want to take a chance on you bringing something back. So I think it really just starts there. And I think it should end there. It shouldn't be, well, I can't believe you cheated on me because we're in a committed relationship. That doesn't exist. You need to just set the boundaries and the expectations of what you desire within that person. And I think that'll help communication-wise because then if they deviate outside of said expectations or boundaries, we already had this discussion. So then it should be easy for you to say, hit the road, Jack. But see, a lot of times you'll think about a man could cheat on a woman and he easily can get out of or getting in trouble because he could say, well, I didn't even know we were serious. How many times have y'all heard that? I didn't know we was that serious. So then how many times she'll take him back? Because she said, think about it. Well, I really never said, let's do this. And we was really serious. And she get to thinking about it and she really want to be with him. No, if you set them expectations and boundaries, like Miss Sheena said, you already know where we at. And I think that's what it's about. I don't think it's about a certain title. I really don't. I don't think it's about a certain title. And then like I'm trying to figure out, even when you get say a title, like what is the deal? Like, where does it come from? Okay, so two people have decided to be together only with each other. Loyalty, trust, healthy boundaries, communication. So does none of that matter until you marry? Yes, I just kind of slick addressed that, Miss Jasmine. That does matter. It does matter. But you have to set those expectations. See, it's easy for you to say. A lot of women always, and it's not just women and men too, but a lot of people assume that because we've been dating and rocking for said amount of time, then technically we are together in a committed relationship. That doesn't mean nothing. I could be having sex with you for like a year and a half. That means nothing. Now, if you come to me and say, this is my train of thought. You need to come to me and let's sit down and have this discussion. Like, Rob, I don't need you out here doing this and doing that. If you do this or that, this is what's going to happen. I'm out the door. And I feel like if you set those expectations, I have a decision at that point to be like, no, I'm not going to rock with you like this. Or yes, I am going to rock with you like this. So since I decided to rock with you like this, hey, you can't come over here. Oh, Lord, he's going to start cutting up. So since I decided to rock with you like this, if I did something against those boundaries or said expectations, because they are healthy boundaries, then that's when I feel like we should leave or we should want more and desire more. Because I feel like we get in a situation where we don't explain these things and then we get upset when it happens. Oh, yeah, y'all coming in. Hold on, I'll tell you what. I can bring in like 100 people, but anyway, for the ones that really feel like they got something to get off their chest, raise your hand so I can send you the link. Because y'all coming in fast in this thing. Hold on. Well, you just that type women. I don't even know what it was. See, I can't keep up with you. If I did, I apologize. I might have did. You hearing a lot of cap? Or are you seeing it? Exactly. Set the standards in communication. Do you think women give them reason expectations? Not unless it's theirs. Okay, so I kind of somewhat agree with you on that. Sometimes, if it makes sense to a woman, then that's how it makes sense, and that's the only way. That's the end all be all. So, if it does, I can kind of get you on that. But I really want to know. So, like, I want to ask this question, and I know y'all are probably gonna be like, "Where did they come from?" So, outside of the 10 Commandments, where did it really get deemed that having sex with someone else while you're in a committed or not committed relationship or even a marriage, when did that become a problem? Hold on before y'all answer that. Let me get that. Pretty much if you're not really committed or maybe y'all have an understanding with each other, then yeah, but pretty much that clears it up. It's just me and you, and we're down in this cool. Okay. And then Ms. Wendy, respect for one another, definitely having standards and sticking with someone may initiate the conversation when you think your feelings have increased. Okay. I believe Dwayne has been in some tragic situations examine his comments. So look, Miss Sheena, he actually is like I'm a board certified psychologist. But so he's probably just on here playing devil's advocate, but he is getting a point across on certain points. I do like how how interactive you are. So when he has his open forums, I most definitely will send you the invite because we need you to speak. Because women always speak in certain platforms, and then when they get asked certain questions, they ghost because sometimes if they deem that the person is so very intelligent and very intellectual, then they kind of get scared. He's one of those people, and I know you're not scared. So yeah, so answer that for me. When, and where did it be deemed that having sex with someone else, whether you're in a relationship or not, to be a bad thing? Where'd that come from? Where'd that ideology come from? And if somebody's just gonna say just the Bible, Ten Commandments, so we know the Ten Commandments was written, right? So if it was written, that means there were people before the Ten Commandments. So with the people before the Ten Commandments, did that not apply to them? Then it was okay for them to do it. That's my son. He needs some attention. And he got sleepy eyes. Casey, don't you come over here with them little sleepy eyes. So let me ask you this then. We wake up every morning and we say, good morning, king and queen. And we get that vernacular because we envision ourselves from our ancestral background, Egyptian background, to say that we are from kings and queens. Didn't kings have a lot of wives and concubines? Didn't queens have a lot of whatever you call the male, female version? So if I wake up and say, good morning, king, good morning, queen, and then I want to put you in that light of back then, well, back then, it was okay to have sex with whoever you want to have sex with. It wasn't frowned upon. I'm just trying to figure out, when did we start frowning upon it? Like, it's easy for y'all to say it's a bad thing, you don't need to do it. Who says that? Where'd that come from? When did it start being a bad thing? Because it started out being a good thing. Let's clear that air. I need to know if anybody agreed with me or anybody think that's just foolishness. It started out being a good thing. Okay, you hit me with the biblical on that. It's not a problem or a bad thing. Monogamy is unnatural. Mr. L. Spade, you said monogamy is unnatural. You're the second person I've seen that said monogamy is unnatural. Why is it unnatural? Because as nature says it, we're the only, what do you want to call it? Celestial being? I don't know what we are. We're the only species that practices monogamy based on what somebody else said. Right? We're the only ones that practice it. In the Bible, his name and all. Yeah, Jeremy. Yeah, there was dudes in the Bible that was like getting it with everybody. And nobody frowned upon that. When did we start frowning upon that? Mr. Kemper said he want to know what woman is in here using the Bible as a frame of reference. Hey, listen, there are women in here to speak from the Bible. Societal standards. Okay, Miss Jasmine. So you said societal standards. Listen, at some point, when everything started, it was all allowed and nobody cared. Then you move through time and it still was allowed, nobody cared. Then you move through some more time, and I think the Ten Commandments came about or whatever. I'm one of the, I can't quote nothing. I don't know anything. I'm uneducated when it comes to that. I'm gonna be honest. But at some point when the Ten Commandments dropped, I think there was a purpose for the Ten Commandments. I do believe that. If you think about it and think about the Ten Commandments in itself, think about the world as if some of us didn't feel and follow those principles, how messed up the world would be right now. Like, we consider the world messed up already as it is. But imagine if we was just running around here stealing from everybody, running around here killing everybody, running around here sleeping with everybody. Like, we really be messed up, right? So technically, when the Ten Commandments was installed, I think it was installed to preserve or slow down the destruction of the human race. Because if nobody followed them at all and didn't have a heart or a moral compass, we really be messed up. Now, yes, there are people that still steal, still cheat, still murder, still do all of that. But imagine if everybody did it. It'd be chaos, right? So I do see a purpose in it. I do see a purpose in when it was written. But y'all don't post black men steal. Y'all don't post black men murder. Y'all just say black men cheat. How about we just all human, right? We not all human. It's a conflict when emotions get involved, therefore jealousy and insecurities become evident. Yeah, that's always a conflict. That's a human trait, though. So when we get outside of what makes us natural humans, then it's like, don't give in to that. I always ask people when was the first man. Jeremy, I couldn't tell you, so I would think you're crazy too. Yeah, I could almost agree. Society is a little not well right now. Miss Wendy, oh my goodness, Miss Wendy, you quoted. You said Genesis 2:24. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and thou shalt become one flesh. So we should become one flesh. So this was in Genesis. Isn't that like the first book? I'm just asking. I don't really know. So what happened to the people before this quote? Were they not one? Or were they not perceived to become one? I mean, I'm just asking. Wild and praising idols and other gods. Okay, there you go. There you go. So that's what I just said. That's what I said, Tyra. I said they was wilding out back then, like we wilding out now. So at some point, they was like, we need to keep these people together. So I think God just said, you know what? I got something for y'all. Speaking of which, Tyra, let's see if you can get this song before somebody else, because I got some more questions to ask. Y'all still ain't the ones that I need to hear from verbally. Y'all ain't raise your hand. If I see y'all raise your hand, I'm gonna send you the link invite, and then it'll be like a group discussion. So then I argue with you in person. I can't keep up with the text. Hold on, watch this. Hold on. Where is my boy? Y'all gonna be mad. Hold on. Okay. Hey, look. So look, I'm gonna ask a question when you tell me who that is. All right, who's finna get a couple dollar points? You said Adam. Okay, so Wendy, quote the part where women need to be quiet, never assume leadership over a man, and Lot told the villagers to rape his daughters. Okay, so Dwayne basically he's saying this, Wendy, when you quote that part of the Bible, he was saying make sure you reference the other part where they tell women to be quiet because it's in the Bible, but y'all don't be quiet, and where they say don't assume leadership over men, but we want to be equal, and sometimes we want to assume leadership over men, which is fine. You know, I'm for equal opportunity. And the lot where the villagers raped his daughters and said, not the angels. So he basically saying you can't quote part of the book if you're not going to quote all the book and follow all of the book. So who? Yeah, let's write a different place. Continue. Hey, look, Tyra, I'm not finna give you all the money. So ain't done nobody else know nothing about no Kelly. All of you, most of y'all know about Kelly. All right, so look. All right, you said the original version. So listen, Tyra, when you was a kid or a teenager, wherever you was, when you was bumping that, wasn't that the jam? Didn't we all groove to that? At no point did anybody say, I don't like this song because men and women shouldn't cheat. At no point. We celebrated that song. And we was like, we had our, back then we didn't call them sneaky links. It was just like you had to download who you was messing around with. So even back then 80s or 90s, whenever that was, 90s, I suppose. I can't remember. Even back then, we celebrated it, but now we condemn you for it. Like it was okay, it was a good thing. Like we really like when that song came out. I wanted to give it somebody just so I can give it somebody else, so I can have somebody on the side. Like I don't know, I thought that was the thing, you know. So I'm trying to figure out how do we go from celebrating that, and then now it's like so frowned upon. Hold on, he did not tell me that his father I told him that he would give his daughter's past wives, but they actually wanted to know that things that they got. Oh, okay. See, you talking to Mr. Kemper because see that's above my head. I'm proud of you though that you knew that though. Not saying I didn't think you didn't. I'm just saying I'm just proud that you just was able to spit that back out there. See, I'm gonna make sure you get the invite and Sheena get the invite when he have his podcast. so because he needs this back and forth. He needs this energy. So look, all right. So let me ask you this. So I got your opinion on that, but I really didn't see nobody answer. Oh well, hold on. You know what? I think y'all did. Y'all probably would tell me I did. Yes, the first. Okay, you said, hold on. Yeah, one flesh, not a variety of fluids in different places. See, you was agreeing with Miss Wendy, huh? So look, I still have yet y'all ain't hear me tell me why is it bad though? Like morally, take out the moral magnitude of it. At what point really did we say you shouldn't do it? And then it's not fair that we started saying it in 19 and then we wasn't saying it in 18 or 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Like, isn't it almost like a contradictory to say that, well, we started being morally conscious around this time period, therefore we know it's wrong. But it's almost like, do you really think it's wrong if such a high percentage of everybody is doing it? Now, for y'all good people that ain't, and for y'all good people that never. But if we're talking on the standpoint of what you are talking about, y'all got to think about it. There are some of y'all that was in a relationship at one point in time and did something that may be considered cheating. So at one point, you almost could say that there's a high percentage, like in the 90s, I believe, that everybody did something at least once, right? Well, if it's such a bad thing and it's so morally wrong, why is such a high percentage that everybody did it at least once? I don't know if that would answer my question. See, I can't be talking over me. Because I wouldn't, if you start spitting it, I don't know how to combat that. You got to speak in modern English. So you saying everyone don't jump on the bandwagon. So what do you mean, Sheena? Sheena, I need to, hold on. All right, you gonna tell me ain't ready. I'm gonna send you this invite. You ain't gonna respond. I'm gonna send it to you anyway. Cause what you're not gonna do is be ducking and dodging like that. Hold on. They say you can't stay ready, get ready, but I know you're probably gonna be like, I'm in bed. Just in case. Just in case. I'm gonna send it to you just in case. So look, yeah, I know everybody can't jump on the bandwagon. I'm just telling you, people have. So like, I'm just saying, if everybody's doing it, Who decided it was bad? That's what I'm asking. I'm just trying to get that answer. I'm just trying to get that question answered. If everybody is doing it, who said it was bad then? How do we know bad is a mental or bad is like somebody said earlier, society thing? Like if everybody bands together and says, at one point, you remember this. At one point, everybody thought smoking marijuana was horrible. I mean, frowned upon. Like you wouldn't even mention that you smoke weed. You wouldn't mention that you knew somebody that did it. Like, you know, you had your people that did it, and then you had your people that didn't do it, and then you look down on the people that did, and you look down on the people that didn't. You look down on each other. Now, because it's almost legalized everywhere, people don't even care. Like you'll walk past somebody and be like, "Damn, that dude smoking weed." I remember we used to try to hide that. Now you don't even care. Because at some point, society accepted it. It said, "Oh, it's cool. Marijuana's cool." Okay, marijuana could have already been cool. Because see, before marijuana came uncool, it was cool back in a long time ago. I ain't talking about the 70s. I'm talking about before the hippies. They were smoking marijuana back in the Gandhi days. So listen, at some point, marijuana was always cool, and nobody frowned upon it. They was just like it's a herb, natural herb, and they smoking it. Nobody had a problem with it, right? Then at some point, in the 19 something, somebody said, "This is not good." And everybody said, "Hey, y'all, this ain't good." I say that point to say that's the same thing that happened with monogamous and non-monogamous relationships. They started out not a thing. Then at some point said, that's not a good idea. And then everybody just started feeding into the fact of that's not a good idea, right? So just like they came around with marijuana, so now people don't even really care. Most places don't even drug test you no more. Don't nobody care. Your mama don't care. All that. Now all of a sudden, it's acceptable, right? Because society accepted it. So at some point, society could accept the fact that unless you're in a physical, I would say, I ain't gonna go around and say just not marriage. I would say if you're in a marriage, unless you're in like a real deal, unless you're in a marriage. If you're in a marriage and you set that expectation, I do believe it counts when you're married. But a lot of y'all get bent out of shape and y'all not even married. And when somebody mess around on you, y'all think it's the end of the world. It ain't the end of the world. It's just like smoking weed before weed was acceptable. Right? Ms. Wendy, the flesh is horribly weak. Horribly weak. So with it being so weak, why do we get so upset when that happens? If my wife cheated on me, you know what I would think? I wouldn't be devastated by the action itself because I'm thinking what you just said, Ms. Wendy. Everybody's human. And I don't put it past nobody because we're all human. And none of us dating God. So if that were to happen, I personally would take it differently than other people would take it. What would bother me the most about it is the fact that maybe I would feel like I'm deficient in an area that she went to seek out. So I would start second guessing, what am I doing wrong? Versus she just could have been curious. Versus she just could have had a weak moment. And some people think it's the end of the world. I wouldn't view it as the end of the world. It couldn't ruin my marriage. It could just make it rocky because now we gotta go about the trust issues. Now I gotta really guess, are you really doing this every time you step out? But everybody had a different reasons. Some people get floored because they're like, you shouldn't do that. I'm not here to say what you shouldn't do. You're human. I can't stop you from being a human. I can't stop you from being weak with the flesh. I just want to know why you did it. So if you did it, I just want to know why. Was I not doing something? Do I need to do something better? When it comes to our ancestors, the majority of the men had more than one wife. They had concubines too, but concubines are lower than wives. They're lower than wives, but they get the same treatment. The wives get the title, but they can still get the man when they want to. So I don't know if they just too lower than wives now. But I do agree with you. They are a lower standard than the wives were. But that was okay. That was okay back then. At some point, that stopped being okay. And now when y'all see polygamous relationships, y'all tend to have a judgment about those people that are practicing polygamy. I call it polygamy. So y'all tend to have an opinion about said people, right? When those people are living out what is deemed natural by many people, because it started out natural. And once again, I keep saying this, at some point, somebody determined that it wasn't natural. And then so we just all start rolling with whoever somebody was. And now we all have a problem with it. So Miss Sheena ignored my invite, and then she decided to say, over time, some people get tired of the same thing, so tempting situations can happen. It becomes ideal, but it takes one or two, then others will turn that cheek. It takes one or two, then others will turn that cheek. So this is what I agree with. I agree with. It is real a tempting situation, but I don't think so. I think you do get tired of the same thing. A lot of you quit jobs because you got tired of that job. And it's almost like I don't blame you for, I don't call you a quitter. I just call you wanting something better. But I'm not allowed to say that if you messed around with somebody. I can't say you wanted something better. Or worse, you just wanted something different. You want to try something different. It's in your human nature to want to try something different. So if it's in your human nature and it was something that we've done, then y'all still ain't told me why it's so bad. Why is cheating bad? I feel like cheating is okay now. That doesn't mean I'm gonna do it, because we have boundaries within our relationship. But that's why I say you're single until you get married. So I feel like a lot of y'all shouldn't get bent out of shape when y'all in these trial periods trying to find the right mate, male or female. If they cheat on you, then that's fine. I don't really consider cheating on you. I consider them just doing them, right? You have to control yourself and not let the flesh take over. I agree, Miss Wendy. But it's easier said than done. Because thou shalt not steal, but people still steal, right? Thou shalt not bear false witness. So does that mean we shouldn't be lying? How many of y'all lie? Y'all lie without the temptation. But ain't nobody mad at you. You can tell how many lies can you tell in a relationship and still be in a relationship? 1,000. You might get with a girl that just say, if you cheat on me one time, I'm out the door. Well, you're a hypocrite then. Because you only gave me one opportunity to mess up with the cheating. But if we're boyfriend and girlfriend, technically I've only committed one sin. That's the lie, right? But you let me lie 1,000 times. Because if we're not married, then adultery doesn't start until we're married, right? See, I bet a lot of y'all ain't thinking outside the box. I'm serious. Like, I really just want to crack into the thought process of why we think that just because we are somebody's boyfriend and girlfriend, they don't have the right to have sex with who they want to. They got the right to do whatever they want to do. But let's go back to the beginning of the conversation. You just need to set your own boundaries and expectations of what you don't want them to do. And I say from a protection standpoint, I just feel like you shouldn't be in a relationship and having multiple partners just from the sake of you're not really valuing that person's life, because you can go out and get something and give back to that individual. And then at that point, you're not even really valuing their life. So I don't say let's go out and everybody have a good time. I'm just saying, at what point did you get to decide that if they did cheat on somebody, that was a bad thing? I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's just a normal thing. And if you don't want to put up with it, then you don't have to put up with it. I agree with that. Oh, okay. I sure will help you understand this, Miss Wendy. Even though I thought I might have did just do that, because sometimes I be answering the question before y'all even get to it, because I'm smart, right? But so once again, I personally think it's morally wrong that if you're going to be with someone, that I think you should be honest enough to say, this is what I do. This may happen. Are you okay with that? And if you're not okay with that, then let's agree to disagree that this ain't gonna work. I think you should give somebody that courtesy. Now, in the event, this is what happens though, Miss Wendy. I meet you, you meet me. We went out on a date. We went out on a second date. Now, the old me, it wouldn't take but one date. I'm just gonna tell you that now. But we went out on a second date. Let's say something happened. We messed around. So we got involved. So now we started spending more time. And we went on a couple more dates. I don't deem that we're in a relationship. So if I met somebody on one of our off days and we went out on a date and then we went out on a second date, then there's a chance I could do the same thing to them that I did to you. Now, where it's dicey is, when do you get to come in and say we are in a committed relationship? So you can't do that. Do you do that after the first date, second date, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months? And then at that point, when does it matter then? Does it matter at month 10 or does it matter at month 3? So now, just because there ain't no certain timetable. That's why I say the timetable don't start till you get the ring. Because you can't say, well, we've been doing this for 4 months, so therefore you shouldn't be doing it with nobody else. No. We started doing this. At no point in time did you say, hey, if we're going to be physical, I need you not to be physical with nobody else. That's what we leave that out. I'm here to say that. Y'all know that's not a lie. Y'all know that's a fact. Women and men, but we tend to leave that part out because we're scared that we may lose that person. So instead of scare that person away, that person to say this like, just understand, I ain't trying to get enough serious. And the first thing we say, oh, me neither. But in the back of our mind, we like, you trying to get into something serious. When somebody tells you, hey, I just want to let you know now, we make sure we just friends now. And then don't agree with that if you don't agree with that. Like, we need to stand up and say, nah, I thought we was serious. We ain't serious. We just slept 4 times in a row. You just came over. You've been here all week. You've been eating up my food. We not serious? Okay. Well, if we're not serious, then you need to get out of my house right now. And then we'll be unserious. So we'll take the physical part out and we'll still date. I think if you set that boundary right then and there, then that expectation, then a lot of y'all won't have this problem when y'all say that these black men cheat all the time, because they're not cheating. Y'all not married. They're just doing them. And the women that do it too are just doing them because they're not married. And there's no book, no law says that they have to not do that. There's nothing that says they have to not do that. That's something society created. So I hope that answers that question. I'm gonna have to stay fast on y'all. Yeah, you do got to stand on the strong, Miss Parker. But a lot of us, we don't do that, though. We say it's so easy for us to say that, but we don't do it. I promise you, it's so easy for us to say it, but we don't do it. We really don't do it. Like, you can have this conversation with me, and me and you both could turn right back around and still not do it. And it's like we know we need to. And I promise you, a lot of y'all wouldn't even get hurt so much if y'all did do that. If y'all follow, Miss Parker's train of thought, a lot of people wouldn't even get hurt. Because I'm here to tell you, I can't tell you how many relationships I've never been in, but I was assumed that I was in just because we was. Tara, what song is this? So just because we was doing this. So just because we was doing that, it's like, oh, we in a relationship now. No. We just having fun, right? If I need to stop doing it with everybody else, then you need to tell me now. But a lot of times y'all don't want to say that because y'all feel like this is a good catch and y'all don't want to lose them. So what we do is unintentionally, we do what we think is going to make them stay. And in the end, it doesn't. And then we blame them and call them a cheater. If we communicate to each other, that is just me. But would you still be mad, Tara? Or would you let me slide? If I messed around on you one time and I say that we didn't have that conversation, would you let me slide? Or would you give me a lot of ear for it? Okay. You consider it cheating. I don't know where that word came from, though. I don't think that word existed back then. And since you are one of my historians on this line, Miss Wendy, I really want to know, when did the word cheat? Somebody look it up. When did cheating even become a word? Because people were doing what we consider cheating before it was considered cheating, and they didn't have a word for it. I just want to know who created that word and when did it become popular? What is marriage, Tara? Fefe, I knew you was gonna end up saying something, Fefe, because you was eyeballing. That's the problem. Most people aren't being honest about it. That's the main problem. Ain't none of us being honest about it. But that's kind of the issue. Tyra, I be saying Tyra. So that's kind of the issue. Is we say that there are not any commitments, but I my main point is it's never a commitment ever. It's never a commitment until you're married. It's never a commitment until you're married. You're single until you're married. And I think we need to get that in our head, that anything is possible. Now, y'all have said a lot of things I agree with, like you gotta communicate and set those boundaries, but you can't be expecting, you really, really, really can't be expecting folks to be like, whatever, if you ain't had this conversation. There needs to be conversation of exclusivity. Faye, you can't say that. Faye, you cannot say that. When you say do you boo boo, when if you tell somebody to do them and they do them, you can't play that get even, because then you're gonna get mad and get even. Guys, I'm just playing. I'm just messing with you. I'm just teasing. Wait till I find your original text. Yeah, Mr. Kemper, most definitely. Whatever text you're looking for. There, that's it. Now that's it. Miss Wendy, that conversation has to happen before you get physical. And 9 times out of 10, it's not going to happen. So, Miss Wendy, let's go back to the old Robert. You date the old Robert. And you tell me we can't mess around until we understand that we're going to be serious about something. I'm going to look at you and say, girl, we just met. What are you talking about? I might look at you and say, you're moving too fast to say that we need to be committed before we even do this. Because literally I'm going to say, this ain't for me then. Because I'm going to ask you why we can't be physical. And then you might say, well, we can be physical. I just don't need you being physical with other people. My next question is going to be, are we married? Think about that. When you get married, we really ask people to fight whatever flesh on flesh and temptation you may have for the rest of your life, to not have sex with nobody but one other person. You really ask that person when you get married. That's a commitment. The only commitment. And so if we're dating and you come to me with that same level of responsibility, of committed responsibility, I'm out. And I'm not saying that because I want to be banging everybody. I'm just saying we're going to do us. And if we did something physically, and maybe I didn't like what you was doing. Maybe something didn't work out. Maybe you wasn't doing something that I really wanted to try. Maybe I didn't experience this and I want to experience that. For whatever the reason is. And I chose to get it from somewhere else. I still want to have that option available. Because I wouldn't want to say, oh, I just met Miss Wendy. She's awesome. She's very spiritual. I love her. She's everything I want. But I just know right now for the rest of my life, I can't have sex with nobody but her. And we're just friends. That conversation is not going to happen. So I'm just telling you that to tell you this part. That conversation is not going to happen because you know it doesn't sound feasible. And you know that if that conversation happened, 99.99% of all men will be out the door. So you don't have that conversation. And since you don't have that conversation, you're okay with us being physical. And we'll start being physical. And then guess what happens? I might be physical with somebody else. And now you have to say, I want this or I don't want that. But you can't come to me day one and say, before we get physical, I need to know, is it just going to be us? I would politely tell you, when I was young, I didn't play no games. I would politely tell you, oh, no. Well, let's be friends then. And I used to dap it up with some girls too. Would be like, well, this ain't going to work. And they'd be like, for real? I'd be like, yeah, for real. Like, I'm not saying I want to sleep with everybody, but I don't want to say that you're going to be the only person I'm sleep with for the rest of my life and we're not even married. That doesn't make any sense. I can't fathom that. And so in the crazy part is I used to dap them women up and then go be myself, and they know what I would be messing around with somebody else. And then guess who they would be telling me to come and meet up with them, while they know I'm probably with this person, not in a relationship, but just a physical ship. And they end up doing it anyway. You said men put women on ice. So what does that mean? So that means we would stall them out? Hold on. See, look, the only way to do it, to not have an issue with everything that we spoke about, is get your personal boundary, Miss Wendy, and just say, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. Like it or love it, accept it, or move on. That's where it starts. Oh, yeah. We know to give it up, man. We all give it up. Mr. Kemper, women cannot help it. They are human. So it's not a bad thing that they give up the sugar. It's actually a good thing. Because when we were created to have lots of relations because that's the only way we can reproduce, which is why we can't fight the temptation. Because God created us to reproduce. Like, could you imagine if he didn't create us to reproduce and we all hated sex? Then we never would have it, right? And it would be easy to fight the temptation, right? But it's kind of backwards. The majority of us all love it. The majority, not everybody. And it's sometimes hard to fight that temptation because we're human. Tyra said, knock the boot. So I'm sitting, hey, didn't nobody want to play with you, Tyra. So look, what you do, ask about what, 3 or 4, right? I'll probably just send you $15 anyway. Cash out me your send me your cash out to your to my messenger. Anybody they ain't want to play with me. Look, she to play, but you too late. Gotta be a little quicker than that. It's not a slide if we're all in a relationship. It was stepping out. Oh, we got a ghost. We got a somebody new on the line, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Shanice Kaysen. Don't you know she was actually her family name is Kaysen after Kaysen Lane in Murfreesboro, Tennessee? Okay, no, my bad. Hey, look. So you said it was stepping out back then. That's what they called it. Shanice, I'm talking about before the 90s and the 70s. So they ain't call it stepping out in the BCs, the ACs. They didn't call it stepping out in the Egyptian time. If they did, it didn't sound like that. Oh, so let's talk about that. Since I think we still got enough people online, let's just start talking about everything. So, Mr. Kemper, you said women consider it cheating, but don't consider their lack of sex abuse. Ladies, do y'all think that's abuse? When you withhold sex from your male counterpart? Hold on, the trust will be gone, but the insecurity can be crucial. They get the reason not to trust them so flee, but if they deal with it, then they keep bringing it up. That's a fact. Marriage is a union and a covenant between the man and the woman and God, not a piece of paper you sign. That's another fact. That's where it counts the most. I said, "No, you've been single for a long time." Hey, listen, I ain't gonna believe that. I ain't gonna believe that. I learned that at an early age. Just tell the truth. Everybody wants to know the truth. I let them make that decision. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I had more relations by telling the truth. Hey, it's just the honesty. You know, there's a huge delay about comments you send, but men will do just enough to keep a woman around, and then she do certain duties because she cares about him, but because they're not convinced, he will still be mad if she does the same. So listen, so since you talked about that, because I got to get back to the Kemper question I asked you about Kemper, but I'm trying to catch up. So, men do get upset. I don't have enough men on this line to be like, ask them why they get upset. Men cannot take it when the women do the same thing. And I've never understood that. I've always been the politically correct friend. I would tell my female friends what I think about their relationship. They used to always run to me. What does this mean if a man thinks this, a man thinks that? I would be so honest. I'd be like, oh yeah, he cheating on you. Oh yeah, he messing around. Oh yeah, he ain't even thinking about you. Oh yeah, he don't want you. Oh yeah, he really care about you. I give the straight truth, honesty, all sides. And vice versa for the males. If they think, man, bro, my chick, she did this, and this. Oh, she did that. Okay, well, yeah, she might be doing this, might be doing that, but the only reason she probably doing this because she's thinking about that, blah, blah, blah. Like, hey, I'm always been a politically correct friend. I never understood why men get mad if they women do the same. I can't roll like that. I literally would have friends that would mess around, and then when they find out that their girl messing around, they get bent out of shape. I would put them in their place and be like, bro, no way you finna act a fool. There's no way you about to act a fool. Like, your bodies are like this. Yeah. And then they be like, yeah, you're right. I'll be like, yes, my nigga, calm down. Oh, you said that's extra. Hold on. Now that's extra. Expecting someone to only have sex. Oh yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah. Question is, all right. So you were answering Kemper's question. Nope, men cannot handle things. No. Yeah, we can't. And I don't know why, because we're supposed to be the strong ones, right? So that's right. That's real evident to say that we're not strong mentally as we think we are. But I think it's more of a female nurturing situation where, as a female nurturer, you allow things to happen as a parent. Because as a parent, you allow things to happen about your child, but you don't be like, let's whoop them, let's whoop them, let's whoop them, let's whoop them. You allow things to happen, and you want to, try to teach your child, educate your child, and you feel sorry for your child keeps making these mistakes, but you don't want to just go haul in, whatever. And that's kind of like why I feel like the women put up with a lot with men, because that's that nurturing part in them that's forgiving, and y'all are a little bit more forgiving than we are. And I think a lot of it has to do with, and I'm gonna go back to you, Tyra, in a second. I think a lot of it has to do with why are you guys more forgiving than us, is because I'll give you an example of my wife. Like my wife is real adamant about, sexual activity. And it's like not, like doing it on her own time, her own pace, whatever, type of thing. And so if she messed around on me, I would take it way personal, only because I'd be like, bro, you don't even act like you like it. Why'd you do it? You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I would. Not giving it every situation, but just saying in certain situations. So my question to you, or my answer to that, would be like, if you had that person that talks, oh, you shouldn't do this, I would never, and then they actually do it, then I'm gonna take it a little personal. But if the whole time we were in a relationship and I was like, well, I ain't really that serious, but I'll try to do my best, and then I did it, you probably would forgive me a little bit more, because you knew the writing was on the wall. And when it happened, you weren't surprised. But me, I'm gonna be shocked. And most men will be shocked. Now, me personally, I just don't care, to the point where I just feel like we all are human. So if I do it and you do it, I'm not better than you. So that's why I always tell men, I don't know why y'all get mad, if you done it first, like, just shut up. You either can continue to get even, or you can just deal with it. I feel like I just continue to get even without getting even, because they take ownership of our bodies and insides. They don't want another man's size. You think so? Let me go. I don't want to get too far off task. Hold on. I'm gonna go back to campus. So let's go back to the abuse question. So, is withholding sex abuse? Do y'all consider that abuse? Before I tell you my answer, I want to see y'all answer. Do y'all consider that abuse? Withholding sex purposely, whether you're mad, irritated, do y'all consider that abuse? I guess withholding sex from could be considered emotional. There you go, Jazz. You smart. Good. Yeah, you. Hey, don't worry about it. You want an invitation to the campus corner? Hey, I need some smart women to challenge him, because he be having the moments where he just feel like he just outsmarting all the women. Even if y'all might find him being a little facetious today, like when you hear him talk, you'd be like, oh, okay. But yeah. So Miss Jasmine, you said, I guess withholding sex from your man could be considered emotional abuse. I'm sure it does something to them mentally, especially if it's being done out of spite. It is 100% emotional abuse. And I can tell you why it's physical abuse too, but it is most definitely emotional abuse, because you are telling me that it's your body. We know that it's your right, but you're basically telling me there's no reason why we shouldn't be doing this, other than I don't want to do it right now because you made me mad. And that's kind of like, I don't know. Emotionally, that's almost like the same as me putting you down, or me using words that I probably shouldn't use to you, to talk about you, and you don't like how I use that, but you made me mad though. So that doesn't justify me calling you out your name and saying you are the sorriest piece of whatever that I've ever met because you didn't wash the dishes. I could be mad because you didn't wash the dishes. It doesn't give me the right to call you those names, to emotionally abuse you, right? Or verbally abuse you. That's kind of the same thing with sex. And y'all don't even look at it like that. Y'all look at it like it's my body. I can do what I want to do. You're right. But you can't be right and you can't be quoting all the biblical stuff and understand that God told y'all to lay down with us. I'm just saying. You can't quote it on this part and not quote it on that part. We discussed that earlier in the chat. But so when you do it and you doing stuff in spite, I think it's some biblical quotes about doing stuff in spite. And he tell y'all should be doing it in spite. Y'all still do it. But that's emotional abuse. Now, as a husband, I will tell you it's physical abuse. It's a high percentage of black males suffer from prostate cancer. And one of the things that really strengthens your prostate is sex. So why do a high number of black males suffer from prostate cancer as they get older? Because they're having less sex. Period. I didn't make that up. Look it up. Fact check it. And because of you, as we get older, we tend to not have as much sex as we was when we was younger. And we don't strengthen that prostate. We don't keep it strengthened. And we're more susceptible to that. So a lot of you could keep your male, like I could only imagine if I was married to a man and I didn't have any reason why we didn't have sex like we used to back in the day. I just didn't feel like doing it because I'm tired all the time, right? And then at some point he get prostate cancer. Like, I feel like you should be blamed for that. I mean, I know y'all ain't gonna agree with me on this, but I'm just saying. You helped because you didn't help prevent it. So, like, if I literally told you that drinking lemon juice, a teaspoon of lemon juice, is real healthy and keeps you from the opportunity of getting, I don't know, some type of cancer or breast cancer, I would encourage you as my wife to, lemon juice to be in your diet. If that was true, like I'm giving an example. I would encourage that to be in your diet. But if we knew that was true, and I encouraged that to be in your diet, and we did it when we were younger, and then just because I was angry, I never reminded you, or I told you stop buying lemons because I can't afford it, and then just ironically you got breast cancer. I know this is a weird example, but ironically you got it, then you could say I was responsible for that because we were doing things to prevent that or help prevent it. And for whatever reason, I got mad and we stopped. That's the same thing. A lot of times y'all can't even tell us why y'all doing it. Sophia said you was cheap because it's fun. Yeah. I believe that to be a fact. I don't really think that we really think about the dynamics of what happens if we do it. I just think we're in the moment, and in the moment, we're not like, oh, this person to be devastated if they find out. We're just like, oh my God, I haven't done this in a while with somebody else. This is going to be fun. I did that before, so I get it. Oh, no, you didn't hold back, Miss Jasmine. We can't be doing that. That heightens the opportunity for that man to go out and cheat. Yeah, I can't be doing that. That is emotional and physical abuse. So, when you get to the point, you get into your late 60s, you're married in your late 60s, y'all need to be dishing it out. Keep the prostate healthy. So look, all right, y'all. What time is it? All right, I'm done playing with y'all. I was bored. So I was like, let me jump on here and get some dialogue. But I like dialogue. I like the opportunity to be able to play devil's advocate. But a lot of y'all is I'm gonna get you to send y'all invite when Mr. Kemp will be having his real podcast. This is not considered a podcast. This is considered me being whatever. Y'all see my man in the back. See, that's who y'all be cheating on us with. The old rich white guy. And see, I'm the guy that if he making enough money, I might be okay with that. I'm just saying. What you say? What you say? Why do Oh, Miss Wendy, I was finna leave. You trying to spice it up, huh? You trying to spice it up? Okay, hold on. Usually, Miss Wendy, she ain't sleeping tonight. Let me play my game. So, why do married men cheat? Let me answer that. I don't know. I would say every situation is different based on the person, but I think it is a combination of getting bored, and I think it's a combination of wanting something different with a sprinkle of something changed in the marriage, and you feel like you have to do something. And I'm finna elaborate. I'm finna expound on that. So long time ago, Oprah did this. Y'all, you who watch Oprah? I did. I didn't. I'm old. So a long time ago, Oprah did this thing to try to figure out why marriages fail. And I thought it was the best show she ever done, in my opinion. And I was young. I ain't know nothing about marriage. I was young as hell when I saw this show. But it made so much sense to me. She brought these women doctors on, and they concluded that marriages fail a lot. The high percentage of marriages fail because of the sexual activity has changed. And so the doctors try to jump in and figure out why would the sex change. If you love this person so much, you had all of this miraculous sex in the beginning. Why did it change? Because the doctors concluded that a woman's sex drive gets higher as they age. So the women, like their high 30s and low 40s, their drive is higher then than it would be when they was in their 20s. So if that's the case, then why is there a lack of sex in marriages, right? So who can we blame for that, right? Because we know the men wants to have sex, right? But y'all don't like to be blamed for stuff, right? Think about that. So the doctors concluded that women body parts, like the birth canal, changes in size drastically. So you lose elasticity as you age, one. Two, you lose elasticity as you have children. So now, what used to feel tight and excitable doesn't feel tight and excitable anymore. Now that doesn't, so walk with me the whole trip now. Stay with me. Now that doesn't mean you have the right to just go out and try to find something tighter. But that means you as a couple need to figure out ways to expound on your relationship to spice it up, right? And you have to communicate instead of look at each other and be scared to talk about that. So the doctors basically said, as humans or as whoever, we don't talk about that. And we're too scared and too fearful to have that open dialogue. So it's hard for a man to come and say, do you feel me like you used to feel me back in the day? And it's hard for a man to ask that question. And so if it's hard for me to ask you that question, then it's going to be just as equally as hard as you to answer the question honestly and say, oh, no, I don't feel you at all, dog. You ain't like you used to be. So now when you couple those two things that change within your body part, and then now maybe I lost a half an inch or an inch because of I'm getting older and my hormone and my drive is kind of going down. The first thing I'm going to think about is I don't have this drive because I don't look at you the same. Not knowing that I could probably don't have this drive because I could literally be having low testosterone. So instead of me going to the doctor to see if I have low testosterone, I'm like the episode with Martin when he took the ring off when he went to the gym. I need to go out there and see if I still got it. So it doesn't mean if I messed around on you, I don't love you. I did it in spite. I might could just want to see why I don't feel this way towards you. Let me see if I feel this way towards somebody else and if it's just them or you. Now, granted, there's no excuse for that. I keep saying that. I keep reiterating that. I'm just telling you what the doctors were saying. And I was watching this at a young age. Now that's why I'm so smart about sex and stuff, and like relationships. But anyway, so if you stop to think about that, how much sense does that make? So now you got a man that's second guessing himself because he know that he can't fill your walls. See, like women be thinking men don't know when they're getting drowned or when they're not in there. Every man knows when he ain't in there. Every man knows. Even when they acting like they pounding you and they just being whatever, they just trying to rush things or whatever. He know if he hitting it and he ain't. I'm here to tell you that. We all know. I know and you know. So psychologically, as a man, it hurts because I feel like I can't pleasure you the same. So now, even before we even have sex, I'm already psyched out because I know you had several kids. I know it ain't the same. I know you're a little older. I know the walls are stretched out a little bit. The muscles ain't tight like they used to be. I'm already psyched out before we even get started. And you know what that hurts? It hurts my size because now mentally I'm not aggressive. I'm not thinking about it, and I don't have that drive that keeps me rocked. So now that's why as you get older, you hear about men have issues keeping it up for a long period of time because I'm in there and I'm like, I ain't even feeling this shit. And if I'm in there, I ain't feeling it, then I'm just like, whatever. And then my little man does the same thing. He goes from here, and he's just like, oh, forget about it. So then what happens to the woman? The woman thinks, oh, it's me, it's me, it's me, it's me. And it kind of is a little bit. But instead of figuring it out and say, hey, let's try this, let's try this, let's try that, she gets depressed. And guess what? She don't want to have sex because it's not feeling the same. Psychologically, she's taken out of the game because she thinks it's her fault. She blames herself. So inadvertently, she will let a whole month. And I'm speaking of married people in the lesson or the show with the doctors. So inadvertently, she would go a whole month without having sex with her mate. So now, as a man, if I married you and then you would go a whole month without having sex, that constitutes a cheating. It does. I know you don't think it does. It does. If you can't honestly tell me why we are not doing this for a whole entire 30 days, that constitutes as me being able to do whatever the F I want because clearly you are doing whatever you want. So I'm just trying to do you. So see, you didn't think that answer was gonna go like that, did you? Yeah, good. I'm just telling you what Oprah said. And that's why they said a lot of marriages were failed marriages only because it starts in the bedroom. Because we don't keep it spicy, we don't keep it original, and we let our own insecurities run into our own insecurities and then run into our fear of having that conversation. When really we could just literally just have that conversation with our significant others and be like, whatever. Oh Lord, somebody wrote me a book. Hold on. Okay. All right, Candace Nicole. Also, you have more women working now. We don't get to stay at home anymore. We're having children that we didn't have in the beginning of the relationship. Most times, the woman has more. I already know where you're going with this one, and it's a fact before you get it out. Most times, the woman has more responsibilities to the family than the man will. Generally speaking, men to take some responsibility and help the woman feel like a woman and not just mom and wife. Some men don't want to adapt to the new family life that they help create. So they go do something else where they don't have all of that going. So I kind of knew somebody was kind of going to divert the comments. Let me move that book so y'all can see me. So divert the comments to that point, Miss Candace. So I agree with you on like that in different sections, piecing that apart. So I do see a lot of complaints about women say, well, we work now. We're not like our moms. Y'all need to do more. And I agree. Men need to help. And it took me a while to realize that. But I'm going to tell you what was different between me and a lot of other men. I had 3 jobs. So when would you think I have time to help you inside the house if you have one job? So yes, I would say congratulations on your one job. I've got 3 jobs taking care of all of y'all, taking care of this whole family, this whole structure. So at that point, I'm like, you don't need any help. Because I feel like if I had 3 jobs and then I come home and do half of what you do, you have one job, and we split the at-home duties, that doesn't make any sense. So I'm kind of with you a little bit. Now, in relation to that, some of you hardworking women are outworking these men. So in that case, you are correct. Y'all should not have to outwork your partner or equally work your partner, and then don't come home and do the equal opportunity here in the house. I'm I'm a real big component of that. But I was raised differently. So I didn't ever have a problem. So I was cooking and cleaning before my relationship. So why would I stop? So most men aren't cooking and cleaning before their relationship. So why would they start? You get what I'm saying? So I wouldn't stop doing something I already was doing. They wouldn't start doing something they never done. So I think the communication should come in to say, hey, honey, I'm sorry I haven't been able to tend to your needs sexually. I just want to let you know I've noticed, and I haven't forgotten. But for me to get off work, help the kids with homework, cook your supper, and then you still expect me to run around with the toddler, when 8 o'clock comes, I'm wore out. So if you help me a little bit, I promise you, I'll light the bed up again. Like, we don't have that conversation. Because it's almost like we're scared to ask for help. And a lot of times, a lot of y'all women can get too prideful because y'all get that mentality like, I'm woman, hear me roar. I can do what you can do. And sometimes y'all get too big for your britches. Like, it's okay to be a woman. It's okay to say, hey, baby, I can't do this by myself. Please help. It's okay to be vulnerable. But a lot of y'all get in such a big, this new day and age, some of this new woman, that y'all get in y'all like, y'all got to prove so hard that y'all are just as equal as we are, and y'all can do everything, that y'all don't even stop to say, I can't do everything. And then y'all get mad when y'all don't get any help. And then it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Then y'all start doing shit in spite of, which means not giving us ass, in spite of the fact that we're not helping out in the house. Like, I learned that out in my marriage the hard way. I had 3 jobs, like I said before. And me and my wife, I just want to travel. And she wanted to travel. And I wanted to take, we was from the country. So we ain't never been nowhere. So I was like, we just going to go all these places, Jamaica, St. Lucia, all these places. And I was like, the only way we can do that is get all these different jobs. Like, I got the main job and 2 part-time jobs. So the part-time jobs pay for all these trips that we was taking. And when I tell you that we would go like weeks, like almost even a month without doing things, I would get upset. And immediately it was my wife's fault, no matter what. I blame my wife. Because I was like, I'm doing all this, and then I'm coming home and helping out a little bit. So I was really getting upset because I was doing 3 jobs and helping out a little bit. But I wasn't really helping out with the kids. And we just had 2 new babies. And they was wearing her out. And I didn't know that. And guess what? We didn't communicate that. And that was like a real down part in our marriage. But after we realized that, and I told her, well, you just need to speak up. So the conclusion was, I need to let these other 2 jobs go. Because I said, what do you want me to do? Like, I got so mad. I was like, so you don't want me to make no money? I said, okay, well, I'll just find it. I just quit every job, and then I just take care of the house. How about that? So that wasn't the right conversation to have. So I realized that all I had to do was just help out a little bit, and it would go a long way. And then that became a real habit. So now I work from home. I go out, I do showings, I drive at night. As y'all know, I just came back from Memphis. I drove late last night, came back this morning. Like, I still could have the expectation of not doing anything in this house. But like, why would I do that? Like, I get home and I'm like, if the dish is dirty, I'll just wash them. That's one less thing she got to do. I realized real soon that if I did as much as the work here, when she come here, then that she got more time with me. And a lot of times we don't get to that point because y'all had that conversation. And that's what y'all need to stop, not having that conversation. So for me, I promise you, it was probably like the lowest part of our marriage. Every marriage is not perfect, and ours was far from it. And I really thought that I was like, I want out. Because let's talk about the men, because when you asked me about why do men cheat? Well, because I was deemed as a player growing up, I just never had relationships. So it was hard for people to call me a player. I just didn't believe in relationships. So yes, I messed around with a lot of different women, but I just didn't believe in relationships. So I don't deem myself a cheater because we never was in a relationship. But I just always said if our marriage didn't work, everybody was gonna blame me. I knew it. So when we got to this point, I literally was like, "Oh, I ain't gonna blame me," because I was ready to like do other things. Because I was like, if I'm not doing this and this is not happening, and you can't tell me why, then I'm ready to do other things. So I was like, I could do other things and still stay married. That's what a lot of people want to do. They want to do other things to stay married. I literally was just like, you know what? I'm not even gonna go down this road. I want out. And it was us really just having a turning point to sit down and have a conversation. Because a lot of y'all will get to that point and y'all will not let a man say he want out. Y'all won't do it. Some of y'all not even being honest with yourself. Y'all really know that y'all would rather let him mess around and then you try to figure out what's wrong in the process and then maybe y'all can fix it. Because I know a lot of people that if they woke up one day and was like, I'm unhappy with you, I want out, I don't even want to cheat on you, just be like, whatever, I just want to leave. Now you're gonna be like, please don't leave me, please, please, please. You won't say, okay, go on. And that just goes back with the communication. Before it gets to that point, let's just sit down and talk about why he won't out. Because you're not doing this, this, and this. And then you can sit down and say, oh, really? Well, I do this, this, and this. So you're mad because I don't do that one thing? I tell you what, help me do 2 of these things. And I'll make sure I do that one thing that you value so much. We don't have that conversation. And I don't know why. It's really just that simple. Help me do 2 of these things, and I'll help you do that. I figured out what couple of things that I needed to do that free up a lot of time. Like since I like to cook, and it took my wife a couple of hours to cook, and I like to clean when I cook. So I'm one of those people like I cook and clean at the same time. I kill 2 birds with 1 stone if I cook. So at one point in time, I just stepped up and just started cooking more because I would cook and clean. And that would save up so much, that would free up so much time. So if she had energy for me later on, then it was wonderful. It was grateful, it was gratitude. But I figured that out just through conversation. I didn't figure it out because we put the ring on it. That's a lot of us. I think Tyra, said best. Like you're in union with yourself and your spouse and God, and not with the paper. And a lot of us think just because you get that ring, that we're supposed to automatically know what to do. We don't. Year 1 and 2 were awesome. Year 3, 4, and 5 was horrible. Year 5 to present, it's been a godsend. It's up and down. And we figured it out, and we've been riding that coaster. And I think talking about the relationship between Black men and women, we tend to, it'd be great, and then as soon as it nosedive, we want off the ride. And we want out. Instead of trying to figure out why did it nosedive, what can we do to fix this together, not your fault, my fault, quit blaming each other, and see if we can get it going back up that way. And it'd be so easy if we just realize that it honestly starts with a conversation. I can't stress that so much. It's just as simple as having a conversation. We've been talking about that all night long, even when we talked about the cheating. It's just been as simple as being honest with somebody in the beginning to say, I don't want you messing around with a lot of different people. If that's what you want to do, this ain't gonna work. If you set that expectation, that man knows what he needs to do and not do. If he goes out and do it after you set that expectation, then you really have a real reason to dip. Same thing with marriage. Some couples or individuals don't belong. Oh, this is a guarantee. This is the issue because we don't know how. But the problem is, it's just as simple as starting, and I don't know why we don't know how. Like we can have this real conversation, and we could have a conversation and have a debate. Like I could have a conversation with you guys, and then say everything that y'all said was wrong, and then we could literally argue because I could say everything y'all said was wrong just because I didn't agree. But I agree with the majority of what y'all said, and I disagree with some things that y'all mentioned. But I wouldn't know to disagree or agree if we never started talking. And I really think that's the problem. We get in our heads before we even start. So let's talk. So if we talk about the sex part when y'all be doing things in spite, or let's just talk about the sex part when I gave you the examples about on Oprah when things change because they had the babies and then they had whatever in the walls and everything is not the same. Instead of us being comfortable enough to say, "Hey, this doesn't feel right. Let's figure it out." I'm too scared to admit it. You too scared to tell me because you think I'm gonna be mad again. I probably am. My ego gonna be like, "Phew." You get what I'm saying? So we don't even fix the problem because we scared about my ego. Yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Candace, that was me for sure. The first relationship roadblock I get to, I want off the ride, coach. And I'm gonna be honest with you, that only gets better through growth as you age. Just being transparent. Because you see the value of your time and what you're doing. And you say to yourself, why do I want to be out so quick? And back then, I never asked that question. I'd be like, I want to be out so quick. And I think a lot of that does have some of that has to do with not really being fully in to begin with. So that's why when you're young, you kind of jump into some things and you jump into some relationships. Sometimes the kids force us into marriages we don't need to be in, or force us into relationships we probably don't need to be in. The children, parents, our friends. Maybe we do this because our friends, or maybe we feel like this person is the perfect person, so let me get them for somebody else, get them, whatever the case may be. And then we try every reason to hold on for no reason other than it might not even been meant for you to be with that person. So of course, the first roadblock you get to, instead of talking it out and trying to figure it out, you want off the ride, which makes sense. But if you got half a foot in, it ain't gonna take it. I tell you, that conversation gonna be real quick to find out if this is what you want to do. I've heard the 3 to 5 year periods are usually when trials hit and you really getting to know each other. That's a fact. And I didn't think that because see, I knew my wife, I played basketball with my wife in college. So I've known her since 1999. We didn't get into a relationship, we get married to 2010. Before then we was just always friends. And I thought we knew each other perfect. Like we used to live together in college. Like I thought we knew each other perfect. And as we got married, like I said, them first 2 years, they was what they were supposed to be. And like Candace said, you know what the difference in the first 2 years was? We had no kids. So we started early with the first one. So the first year we did, but he was just he was just a him. And we didn't get the second one until 2013. So we was able to really just be running them streets, be in love. She didn't have time to be tired yet. And then when that second kid came, then she had time to be tired, and that's when things took a turn. And it's so crazy because it really is just that simple. And we just complicate the thought process so much because we really think way beyond that. Like, all we see is the woman says, I got a job too. Why do I got a job? And then I got to do all of this. As a man, if you look at it from a man's standpoint, I'd be like, babe, you just came home. All you really did was cook because the kids watch themselves. That's what we think. We like, them kids was running around watching themselves. Like, you got to eat. If I wasn't here, you would cook anyway. So why are you complaining about the cooking? When we don't really consider that it's deeper than just the cooking. It's the fact that I worked, you came home, went back to work, I came home and sat down. That's the problem. And see, that drives you crazy, women. I can't stand that. Because see, now that I came home and sat down, then I start yelling out what you need to do. So you've been yelled at by your boss all day. Then you come home to your sanctuary, and then you watch me sit down because I'm exhausted, and you still work. And then I'm telling you what to do just like your boss. Like, hey, make sure you do that. When you do that, make sure you make my plate. Then when you finish that, make sure you come in here and give me some loving. And you psychologically don't even know that you're resenting me the whole damn time. So what do you do when you come in the bedroom after all that happened? You've kept this attitude in your head the whole time. So when you jump in the shower and I'm thinking you about to come do the nasty, I get blocked. And you don't even tell me why I get blocked. You don't stop right then and there, set up in the bed and say, babe, you pissed me off when you came home, set your ass down. You didn't help me do this. You didn't help me do that. Then you start barking at me about doing this and barking at me about doing that. You didn't help me at all. I'm frustrated. So no, we're not doing this. You just came in and just said, not tonight, I'm tired. Next night, not tonight, I'm tired. Because y'all holding grudges. The whole time you're not thinking that, like we mentioned before, that's emotional abuse. So now in my head, I'm like, what do you mean you tired? You tired every night? Oh, okay. That's what's up. So now we about to get even. Like, it's so damaging. It's just a repeated cycle. When all you had to do was, when I sat down, hey, babe, can you cut up the onions for me? Or can you do this? Like, you can indirectly ask for help even without asking for help. You can also say, hey, you come in here, you give me a hand, I'm going to give you a hand. And then y'all can be doing it together. Y'all can be cooking together. Y'all can be working together. We'll get excited versus you just catch an attitude because I sat down. A lot of times y'all be having an attitude and don't even tell us why y'all having an attitude because y'all in your own way. When all you had to do was literally say, hey, Mr. That's cute that you set your little butt down over here. Why don't you come over here and season this meat for me? My wife do it all the time. She be slick with it. Hey, babe, can you, you know how to season the meat better than I do. Can you season this meat? Now, technically, I do know how to season it better than she does, but I'm just saying, yes, babe, I'll season the meat for you. And 9 times out of 10, by the time I get done seasoning meat, I'm up now, so I'm doing other stuff. Exactly. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. But y'all won't do it. So I hope this be a lesson to some of y'all. Like, quit getting upset. Quit getting into a little attitude. Quit being an angry black woman that everybody say y'all are, but y'all really not. But quit being the stereotypical. If your man sat down and started barking around, more orders, easily just look at him and say, hey, babe, I left my boss at work. That's all you gotta say. Hey, babe, I left my boss at work. You my partner. So come up here, let's do some partner things. Or else we won't do no partner things later. Hey, I guarantee he'll get up. I guarantee he'll get up. And if he don't, then y'all know y'all need to have some real deal communication, some third party communication with somebody to sit down on the couch. That's what y'all need to do. So look, all right, I'm gone this time for real. I'm gone. Miss Wendy, don't be trying to ask me no questions. Try to keep me stay on this time. Hey, listen, I love the feedback. I love messing around with y'all. Listen, that's all it's about. It's just about communicating, having fun. I really hope maybe somebody's seen it too and just said, you know what, I'm gonna start doing that in my relationship just to see if it works. Because a lot of times we mess things up ourselves and don't even know it the whole time. See, the whole time that y'all was thinking that it was the man's fault because he sat down and started barking these orders, it really wasn't his fault. He just did what he naturally had been doing before he even met you. Why would he start doing something different? He wasn't taught that. So if that's what he naturally did before he met you, he's going to continue to do it. So guess who got to break the habit? Not him, you. So help him break the habit. Teach him how he needs to love you and how he needs to treat you. And then he will in turn teach you how he wants you to love him and keep him right. All right. I'm going to drop these comments and then I'm out. Oh, yeah. Look. Are you going to South Carolina? I'm going to be up in there. You know, I mess with you tough, TJ. Exactly. It's nobody's fault but everybody. Oh, my goodness. Okay. Well, yeah, you know, I'm going to see you there. Y'all have a good night. And love on y'all loved ones. So if y'all got some babies, y'all go kiss y'all babies. It ain't too late. Go kiss y'all. I'm big on that now. Y'all go get them babies a kiss. Tell them babies good night. Even if they sleep. Because they ain't sleep. They just pretend. They're going to be asleep by the time you hit the dodo.